the new ownership, this was always going to be a big summer for Chelsea. There was always going to have to be a bit of a rebuild of the squad, because it's a squad that's been built under several different head coaches, and it doesn't really all align with what Thomas Tuchel wants to do with his football. Obviously, Antonio Rudiger's gone, and Andreas Christensen's going to follow him to La Liga. There's decisions to be made over Cesar Azpilicueta and Marcos Alonso as well, and then you move into the midfield, and there's decisions about N'Golo Kante and Jorginho, who only have a year left on their contracts too. So there are lots of big calls that Thomas Tuchel and new ownership are going to have to make. And if they decide it's now time to move on and the club find a suitor for them, it's going to be very interesting to see how they rebuild the squad, because you can't have the world's most expensive goalkeeper, for instance, as your second choice, and you can't have no £7 million striker like Romelu Lukaku who's not playing, and there's a big dilemma over him. So it may be one where they get this summer done, and then they really do look at how they sort out their recruitment going forward, because big changes are needed in that respect. The new ownership do seem to want to focus in on the academy a little bit more, and look, Chelsea have done very well out of the academy in recent years. Obviously, you mentioned James and Mount, and obviously Callum Hudson-Odoi is in the first team squad at the moment, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and you look at the players that they've sold in recent years, Mark Gurhey, Fikayo Tomori, Tino Livramento, Tariq Lamptey. I mean, it's such a conveyor belt of talent that's been coming out of Chelsea in recent years, and that Chelsea may have, maybe haven't always made the most of, because they have sold, Tomori and Gurhey. When you look at the centre-back issue this summer, and you're sitting there seeing that you've sold Gurhey and Tomori in the last 2 years, maybe that's poor planning on the club's part. They've got another great young centre-back coming through in Levi Colwill, who I really do believe should be given an opportunity this summer. I think he's coming back in for pre-season, and Tuchel will assess him. But for me, I think he's had a great season on loan at Huddersfield. You need to continue that momentum. You need to take the next step up with him and challenge him with this Chelsea positioning. Maybe not starting 40, 45 games. You may start him for 20 games and see how he gets on. But I think he is more than good enough. You obviously got Conor Gallagher set to come back in to the squad this summer as well after his loan at Crystal Palace. And then you've still got people like Billy Gilmore and Armando Broja and Ian Maatson and Dujon Sterling who've all had good loans, and decisions have to be taken on them. And I think, going forward, if Chelsea continue to overlook their own, it will come back to bite them more often than not, because there is a lot of talent there. And it makes sense for the new ownership to really sort of focus in on that, because it's, you're getting these guys for, well, not free, because you've invested a lot of money into them over the years, of course, but you're not having to pay a transfer fee for them. And they are more than capable enough of taking up positions in the squad and filling in and stepping in. And for a lot of them, it is a huge ambition to make it at Chelsea, because they've been there since they were 7 or 8. So getting that chance is really important to them. So, yeah, I think it's huge at Chelsea. We've seen the success that can be had with the academy players, and I think it's now a real sort of onus on it for the new ownership to focus in on it and use it a bit more productively than perhaps Chelsea have in the last couple of years.